This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. King dies to defend his title as 9 Calypsonians vie to end his winning streak. Miss Dominica Tassia Flosa crowns her successor, and Wahoo boss Curtis Augustus rejects a proposal to circumvent the law to make Sunday an ordinary work day. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, 9 Calypsonians are getting set to put out their best performance yet in an attempt to dethrone reigning Calypso Monarch Denison Dice Joseph. Julian Morris has that story.
Former two-time Monarch Gregory Caressa Revere will see if he can make it a lucky 3 when he takes to the stage on Saturday night, while Chester Daddy Chesley Tai is hoping to cop his second crown for this season and become a two-time Calypso Monarch. Meantime, Tasha P. Peltier will be looking to create history again by being the only woman to win the Calypso Monarch title twice. Veteran Calypsonians Daryl de Bob and Webster de Webb Marie will find out if their experience competing at the finals will finally reap the ultimate reward of the Calypso crown for the first time in their Calypso career. The 3 newcomers to the finals, Jude Junius Dorset, Jude J.D. Deloney and Stefan, will get to see if they make an indelible mark on the Calypso landscape in their first year at the finals. And Janae Jackson, in just her second consecutive year at the finals, will be aiming to become the second woman to have won the Calypso Monarch title. The Calypsonians will perform as follows: Junius first on stage, Stefan, Bob, JD, Janae, Daddy Chess, Webb, Dice, Caressa, and Tasha P. to wrap things up at number 10. The 9 judges for the night are Patrick Pemberton as head judge, accompanied by Celia Maxwell, Trudy Christian, Reginald Lafleur, Michael Augustine, Evelina Baptiste, Nadia Revere, Marlon Marie, and Monsignor Eustace Thomas. The Grand Calypso Finals is scheduled to take place from 8:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Meantime, 8-time Calypso King Dice says he feels reassured that he has influenced a lot more youthful participation on the big Calypso stage. Dice will defend his Calypso Monarch title, performing at number 8 on Saturday night.
If anybody can remember when I jumped into the Calypso, I was always calling out the ghetto youths. I was always talking about the youth of our nation and, you know, the interest the people supposed to show in them. And to see that when I entered in the Calypso arena, it didn't really have youth in the Calypso. So I guess part of the youth being there today is Dicey and his team, you know, pushing that vibes, and they seen something different, and I guess that motivate them to come in, and it's good to carry our Calypso to a next level, to a next generation. So it's a good vibes, and I love it. Yeah.
He will compete with Flowers and Do Good.
You know, what is the idea behind this Calypso?
I think it's plain. It's straightforward too. The point is do good. Now, the reasons I might say, the circumstances you might pass through. I choose a few circumstances. Whereas growing up without a father, growing up without your mother, or growing up with your grandmother, that's the circumstances I choose. It have other circumstances where you still have to do good. It have, let me see, Tupac Shakur, mother made him in jail, I think. And still they have to grow up and do good, you know. So the point is, the song says do good, and no matter who they give the song, if they fit the circumstances that I'm talking about in the song, then I'm talking to them too to do good. So whichever one, I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to my friends on the streets, I'm talking to some of the ghetto youths I know that grew raised up without more than father and didn't have nothing, and now they building their house and they feeling they're doing good now, although they passed through that situation. So for somebody to give it to one person, it's just not right, because it's for so many people, you know.
The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is promising that their presence will be felt throughout the island during the Carnival celebrations. Police Superintendent Richmond Valentine also cautioned the public to adhere to the law during the festive period.
Our security strategy will be tailored with special emphasis on crime prevention, intelligence gathering, traffic control, and management. The presence of the police will not only be visible, but will be felt, and this will be island-wide. We will have measures in place to intercept those with criminal minds who are planning on committing mischief. And if found in breach of any law, police action shall be swift, and in most cases, those that are culpable, their liberty will be restricted until Ash Wednesday so that they can be dealt with according to law.
Times and days for street jump up are 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. this Carnival Monday and 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Tuesday.
The bands are to strictly adhere to the Carnival timings outlined in the Carnival order. Tone down the music when it's getting close to the cutoff time. So by 9:30, 9:45, you should be playing music that is going to cool down. When you exercise, there's something they call a warm up and then warm down. So towards the end, warm them down. No playing of music in bars outside of the Carnival hours. So once it is 10 p.m., all music should stop, whether it's on the Carnival route or otherwise.
Truck drivers were further reminded of the number of people riding on the truck and the height of the structure mounted on their vehicle. Valentine also informed the public that they are not to wear masks before 8 a.m. or after 6 p.m. And just a reminder that the Carnival route has been extended westward this year to include the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. The Carnival route begins at the intersection of Kennedy Avenue and Independence Street and proceeds as follows.
South along Independence Street from the intersection of Kennedy Avenue to the intersection of King George V Street. West along King George V Street from the intersection of Independence Street to the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. And north along the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard from the area of Royal Bank to the intersection of Kennedy Avenue. And east along Kennedy Avenue from the intersection of the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard to Independence Street.
2 new features have been added to this year's Carnival Road parades. The first will involve the primary school children in a brand new trial initiative using creative designs on T-shirts.
For the primary schools, designed shirts sections, which is a new initiative this year, where we have given schools T-shirts in various colors, and the students have to be very creative with those T-shirts. They could use beads, paintings, tie-dyes, whatever it is, and they will be using these T-shirts with masks or headpieces or handheld additions. And this year we have 4 schools. It's a trial, so we have 4 schools. And the first will be Massac Primary School, followed by the Roseau Primary School, then the St. Luke's Primary School, and the St. Martin's Primary School.
The other new aspect will target the bands registered to take part in the Juve Street Jump Up.
If you're not registered, you will not be eligible to receive a prize. And there will be a backdrop placed on the bayfront. And in order for us to ensure that you did come onto the route, we will have persons taking photographs of each group in front of that particular backdrop. So when the judges go back to deliberate, they will have those photographs so that they can look at them and ensure that these groups did come onto the bayfront for the Juve judging period.
In other news, Dominica's largest private sector trade union says it is concerned with suggestions that current labor laws could be sidestepped to make Sunday a regular day of work. The issue has resurfaced after Ariane Perryman, president of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, expressed support for Sunday becoming a normal working day. The Dominica Employers Federation and Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce also support the idea.
And I'm going to take off my DHTA hat for a minute and just say there are other ways of circumventing that. So in the short term, new employees can be hired, for example, on contract. And on contract, you can also say that Sundays will not be recognized as a holiday. So just for private sector knowledge, when you're hiring a new employee, that's something that could be done. However, the bigger issue really and truly is we need to look at changing that legislation.
However, Curtis Augustus, Secretary-Treasurer of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, says the law in its current form protects employees' rights.
If they want their people to work on a Sunday, comply with the provisions of the law, and we have no problems, because that have been happening for the longest while. Why now do they want to make changes just to satisfy what is in fact greed? Because if their God is the money, I could understand, but our God is not the money. We like to be able to go give thanks and praise to our God on a Sunday, or for that matter, on a Saturday.
This is Channel 5 News. Coming up, a growing market for costume bands and Venezuela's ambassador to Dominica calls for peace. That and more when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Miss Dominica Tassia Flosak will crown a new Miss Dominica at the Eddie Andre Carnival City on Friday night.
A new award up for grabs at this year's Carnival Queen Pageant is related to the contestants' pageant platform projects. This year, contestants were required to implement projects in their communities related to their platforms. The Miss Dominica 2017 hopefuls are Carla Henry of Maho, Zethra Barron of Fort Seja, Gabrielle Abraham of Upper Goodwill, Teresa Lewis of Bath Estate, Katisha Joseph of Massac, Esther Francis of Goodwill, and Jade Romaine of Gutter Village Goodwill. They will compete in costume, swimsuit, performing talent, evening wear, and best response to question.
Head of the Mercury Costume Band, Joel Harris, says the market for costume bands is growing and new groups are creating an avenue for positive competition. Mercury is returning on the road after not putting out a band last year due to the impact of the 2015 tropical storm Erica. Head of the Mercury Costume Band, Joel Harris, says this season promises to be very exciting.
For some strange reason, when it comes to Carnival, if there are more bands, the market grows. What also happens that people will probably see is that the product improves, because now we're all trying to attract what we believe to be the same customers. So you just generally, you can't lose with more competition. It just becomes a better product.
What does this season look like for Mercury in terms of the number of people that who have signed on?
Roughly the same. We catered for roughly the same amount of people because we knew it wouldn't affect our numbers. And those people have registered. People are still registering now. And we're pretty excited because it's our 10th anniversary. So we have a lot of new things planned. And everything so far is going really well.
The other bands are Amnesia, Hysteria, and Africulture Stilt Walkers. Carnival Corner and Thunderbirds have pulled out of the Carnival Parade competition due to a court matter in which they are challenging the awarding of Band of the Year 2016 to the Africulture Stilt Walkers. And Venezuela's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Hayden Perella, has called on Dominicans to exercise peace as they continue on the path to development. His comments come ahead of the Carnival street jump-up and 2 weeks after the riot and vandalism following a public meeting of the United Workers' Party and the Dominica Freedom Party.
Dominica is working to get the development. But I want to say that the people of Dominica, they have to sing better when they can get something. I believe that the only way to get the development of Dominica is in peace. There is no another way. It's in peace.
Perella says Dominica needs to retain its peaceful image to the wider world and work in peace to develop the country.
I have 4 years in Dominica, and I can say that the people of Dominica, they want work. They want to receive the tourists here. They don't want problem. in this moment, Venezuela has problem, economic problem, political problem. I don't want that our brother country, Dominica, they have to get the development, because Dominica, somebody said all the time, Dominica is a paradise.
The Dominica National Development and Disaster Fund confirmed in a press release on Wednesday that it in fact received a $10,000 donation in 2014 from KB Foundation for the purchase of disaster emergency items for Dominica. The release goes on to say that the donation was presented to the local representatives of DNDDF in September 2015 at the Red Cross headquarters. This statement is important as it sheds light on a demand from Foreign Affairs Minister Francine Baron this week that the opposition leader and two Q95 talk show hosts apologize and pay $10,000 for defaming her. The minister said the men have continuously accused her of using funds donated to the DNDDF for her personal use. Baron said neither Lennox Linton, Angelo Allen, nor Matthias Peltier contacted her or the charity to inquire about the donation, but they have persisted with their allegations, according to her. Baron is concerned about people making baseless allegations without proof. That's news. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
First up in sports, we have results from the Dominica Football Association's Division I games on Thursday. At Benjamin's Park, MV Maxon Obamas defeated Skerrit Northeast 4-1. Lemar Irish netted twice, while Owen Joseph and Usher George chipped in with 2 each. In the Malta Caribou Bathurst State Football Club versus St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Delton United encounter, Bathurst State won 4-0 at the Newtown playing field. And Andy Williams Spartans failed to show up for their match against Police Sports Club at the Pore playing field. Matches continue after the Carnival break. Moving on to cricket, where Marlon Samuels had recently called on the West Indies Cricket Board to compromise in their selection policy after being omitted from the West Indies ODI squad and suggested he could accept a Kolpak deal in county cricket if an agreement cannot be reached. Samuels, who captured Man of the Match titles twice in World T20 finals, was left out of West Indies' 15-man squad after electing to miss games in the regional Super 50 competition in order to play in the more lucrative Pakistan Super League. WICB policy is clear that no player will be considered for the international team unless they have made themselves available for the entire regional competition in that format. However, Samuels claims he was offered double the value of his previous West Indies retainer contract worth $130,000 to appear in the BPL and argues that the WICB should allow their players to appear in overseas T20 leagues without it rendering them ineligible for international cricket. Meantime, it was not one of India's best moments in cricket when they had a low-scoring innings on day 2 of their test against Australia on Friday. After Australia piled on 260 all-out, India had wickets falling at regular intervals in their turn at the crease, finally crumbling to 105 all-out in 40.1 overs. Lokesh Rahul scored 64, which was the highest total for the Indian side in that innings. Much to the efforts of Steve O'Keefe, India had little chance for adding more runs to their total as the slow left-arm orthodox bowler picked up 6 wickets for 35 runs. In the second innings, Australia piled on 143 for 4 at the end of day 2. Stephen Smith had an undefeated 59 and Matt Renshaw 31. R. Ashwin took 3 for 68 for India. Next up, preparations for the Windward Islands Under-15 Cricket Tournament continues this weekend with a trial match on Saturday. In this regard, the Sports Division has placed 29 young cricketers into 2 teams for Saturday's match. The event will bowl off at Windsor Park Sports Stadium at 9:30 a.m. The Windward Islands Under-15 Cricket Tournament is expected to take place in Grenada on April 2017. Still in weekend games, we can tell you that training for the Dominican team ahead of the Jean Pierre netball competition continues on Saturday with a match at the Dominica Grammar School Hard Court. Recently, the squad was cut down to 16 members. However, the final 12 is expected to be chosen around 4th March. Saturday's game is carded for 10 in the morning. The 2017 Jean Pierre competition is carded for Trinidad and is expected to run from March 31 to April 7. And in track and field, more athletes will get a chance to make the Dominican squad ahead of the Carifta Games thanks to an initiative by the Pioneers Athletics Club. Cedric Harris is the club's president.
Yes, the Pioneers Athletics Club is hosting Pioneers Club Invitational Classic at the Winter Park Sports Stadium on Sunday 26. Event is hopefully going to start at 10 o'clock, and on that day we are expecting the athletes who have not yet qualified to another opportunity to do that. And the competition was sanctioned, or is sanctioned by the Athletic Association, and thanks to them for that. They'll also be assisting us in whatever way possible to make sure the competition goes through.
He says the athlete turnout on Sunday should speak volumes of their dedication to the sport.
People have said that Carnival is a wrong time, but I think it's a good time because we know then who are the committed, dedicated athletes. People like Jabez Ferrara, big name now in long distance running in Dominica. For the season thus far, he has not yet competed. We should be seeing him in action there. But also young upcoming athletes, Keva Pierre, Danielson Mahate has promised that he will qualify on Sunday in the 100 meters, so that will be a highlight for us to look at. We have other athletes who have been trying very hard in the throwing events. Josh Toussaint.
3 athletes have qualified for the game so far. The event begins at 10 a.m. at Winter Park Sports Stadium. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Do have yourself an awesome weekend.
We now join our friends at the Met Office for the weather report.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery and what it showed. Some convective activity, mainly across the southern portion of the region, with a relatively dry atmosphere observed across Dominica as a high-pressure system dominated conditions. Now, taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, what it showed. Just a few low-level clouds which moved across Dominica today, and this resulted in fair to partly cloudy skies. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery and what it indicated. No shower activity across the islands during today. Tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with a few brief scattered showers, and similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be slight to moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Northerly swells are expected to affect the island during tonight into tomorrow. As a result, all sea users and persons living near the coast are advised to be vigilant and to exercise caution. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, fair to partly cloudy skies. Also, hazy conditions can be expected tomorrow with a few brief scattered showers. However, as we move into Sunday, we expect conditions to become increasingly cloudy with some scattered showers, and on Monday, partly cloudy skies with some early morning showers can be expected. Also, an increase in wind speeds can be expected as we move into Monday. For the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few brief scattered showers can be expected across the central portion of the region, with partly cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected across the extreme north, with cloudy skies and some scattered showers expected across the extreme southern portion of the island chain. Our international cities forecast: showers and thunderstorm activity can be expected in New York and Caracas, partly cloudy skies expected in Miami, some rain expected in London, with clear skies expected in Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:25 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:12 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night, a good weekend, and a happy Carnival. Stay safe.
Please note that the Prime Minister's address will be repeated after the news. To end the news, the headlines again. King dies to defend his title as 9 Calypsonians vie to end his winning streak. Miss Dominica Tasia Flosa crowns her successor, and WOW boss Curtis Augustus rejects a proposal to circumvent the law to make Sunday an ordinary workday. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsFeb24rd2k17. You can access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Have a safe Carnival.